has been a long time since we've done one of these. Hey guys, it's me, Alison, and today we are doing a book review! I'm finally getting back on my reading grind, so now I actually have enough books to review for you guys. As per usual, I put what I'm gonna say on my phone, so I'm gonna be reading from there. The first book, I think I finished like 2 years ago, but we have Final Girls by Riley Sager. I think I've read the majority of the books that Riley Sager has published under this pen name. My rating for this one is a 9.5 out of 10. I actually prefer their other novel, Lock Every Door's pacing. This one was also really good, but it didn't have the same hold on me that Lock Every Door did, where I couldn't put it down. I think it was a little bit frustrating plot-wise, like the explanation made me upset, but it was very well written, and I think it had an interesting plot that took a very unexpected turn. So basically the plot of this book is there was this girl who a while ago went to a cabin with some of her friends. She is the only survivor from an incident there, dubbing her a final girl. And so there are different final girls who like survive different incidents, and now all of a sudden they start dying. So she has to relive her past, discovers things weren't what it seemed, so on and so forth. You get the gist. It's very good. It goes back and forth between present day and then like her recollection of what happened that night, I believe. That's like how Riley Sager likes to write. The next book, I don't have it with me because I don't think I liked it very much, so I probably gave it away. It is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This book, I would rate a 7 out of 10. So basically the plot of this one is that a while ago there was like this murder-suicide that took place in the town between like 2 teenagers, or so everyone thought. The main character of this book though is doing a report on it, and she discovers that again, things are not what it seemed. This one was so hyped up on TikTok, but I really just struggled so much to get through it. I am not gonna lie. I think the problem for me is that the writing was very much geared towards teens, so I think it just didn't really appeal as much to like where I'm at right now. It took me months to get through this book, bro. I think it was an interesting plot, but it just wasn't written in a way that like grabbed me or like reeled me in. I personally did not like the parts that were written as a diary, and like, cause it was supposed to be for like a capstone project she did. So I didn't really like the parts that were written as like a diary, because the story is already from the main character's point of view. So like we already know what she's thinking. So I didn't really enjoy the diary parts of it. Also, the way that the characters like went about things just didn't feel the brightest to me. Like, I felt like they were playing with fire and not in a wise way at all. But again, it's probably a novel geared towards teens and it's about teens, so makes sense. I think the main character, low-key, was like kind of irritating to me, and how she went about things. Her choices were like very questionable, and again, like since it's a research project, I was like, girl, your research was not conducted in the most objective way. And then I also think that the book was a little longer than it needed to be. The next book that we're gonna be talking about is Last Thing to Burn by Will Dean. Honestly, I didn't even write that much about this book, so we're just gonna be going off of memory. I think the book just really didn't have that big of an impact on me. If I was to rate it, I would give it about a 7.5 out of 10. Ultimately, just the pacing did not reel me in, so it took me a long time to get through this book. I picked it up because there was a TikTok where this girl was like, books that I couldn't put down, read them in one day. I was like, girl, I struggled to get through this one. The plot of this one is that there is this Vietnamese woman. She came over from Vietnam with her sister a while ago, and they were promised, you know, this life where like they're gonna get to be free, they're gonna get to send money back to their parents, stuff like that. But no, that's not what happens, and she ends up being bought by this man. She's like a captive in this man's home. So like she has to do everything a certain way, stuff like that, yada yada. But things change when she gets pregnant and she doesn't want to stay there anymore. So she finally, again, tries to make an escape, because she had tried before the novel took place and it didn't work. I don't really have a lot to say about the book. It just wasn't a book that I feel strongly about. Ooh, the next one. This one is heavily talked about. It is Never Lie by Freida McFadden. I would give this book another 7.5 out of 10. Maybe more leaning towards 8, maybe a 7.75. This was my very first Freida McFadden book, so I was so excited. And I do still want to try some of her other novels, like maybe this one just didn't hit for me. I would say that one of the main characters was just wildly infuriating to me. I also didn't enjoy the perspective and like time frame switching. I don't know if you guys watch Criminal Minds, but like some episodes you don't know who the unknown subject is until the very end of the episode. Like you're just like the FBI, you're guessing, you're trying to figure it out with them. But other episodes they will show you the FBI trying to figure it out and like what's unfolding with the unsub at that current time, like simultaneously, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the route that the book took. You get the perspective of current day, the girl trying to figure out what's going on, and then you also get the perspective of what actually went on, and that's what I don't like. So the plot. Basically, there is this married couple. They've been together like a year max, I don't know, and they're already married. They don't know a lot about each other, and they're looking for these houses. They end up at the former like mansion of this renowned psychologist. There's a big scandal where she disappeared. So the wife comes upon this room in the house where there are tapes. The psychologist recorded all of her like sessions with her patients, so she starts listening to them. As the summary puts it, the psychologist's web of lies slowly unravels. I think when I read that plot, I interpreted it to mean that we were going to figure out what happened based on the tapes alone, which like there were like some clues, I guess, in some of the tapes, but a lot of it came from just us seeing what actually happened in the past. I think I would have preferred if we just figured out all of the mystery in present day. Like, I don't want to see the like past stuff. I wanted to hear it all from like the tapes and stuff. You know, kind of like how a detective would. As a detective, I wouldn't know the like inner thoughts of the murder victim, you know? So like I didn't really enjoy that perspective switching. I will say though that the twist was definitely unexpected. I thought I had it along the way, but no, I didn't. The end made me like uncomfortable too. It's not a bad book, I just didn't particularly enjoy how it was structured. The last book is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I would give this book probably an 8.5, maybe a 9 out of 10. I will say that this book definitely drew me in and I wanted to keep reading it. Like I was zooming through it. My friends and family can tell you that. I finished it fairly quickly. The only reasons that I would make it like an 8.5 or an 8 instead of a 9 is the explanations. Towards the end, it started to get unbelievable. I think there was too much going on. Like I was getting overwhelmed. I think they were trying to make too many twists happen. I also actually had some correct guesses with this novel, so I'm proud of myself. Look at me go. But yeah, I did like this book. I think it might be one that maybe I should reread now that I know what happened, because like I said, a lot happened. There were like too many twists, so I kind of want to see rereading it if it makes sense, because I feel like some of it didn't make sense. I think sometimes I got a little bit confused, but honestly I liked this book. I think there were like some reviews I saw where people didn't like this one as much as some of Riley Sager's other novels, but I liked this one and I read it really fast. I wanted to know what happened really bad. The plot of this book, there was like an infamous like case that happened at this like gothic mansion. They said the like teenage daughter murdered her entire family. The teenage daughter wasn't charged and she grew up now to be this elderly woman living in this gothic mansion. The main character of the novel is a caregiver who has her own sort of troubled past, and she gets the job to take care of her and she wants to discover what actually happened. I think it was a very interesting plot idea. I just think the explanations got a little bit unbelievable. So that's the only thing that detracted from it for me. I'm currently zooming through another book, so maybe book review videos are gonna start coming back on this channel. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys!